China is known for its massive infrastructural projects, but these are not always appreciated by the rest of the planet. Sometimes they become headlines all over the world for all the wrong reasons. One such project that the Chinese authorities might be proud of has received a lot of international criticism. Between Nyingchi City in the southern province of Sichuan and Nyingchi City in the Tibet Autonomous Region, the People's Republic of China will soon start construction on a crucial section of a railroad. But why is it so controversial? And why does the rest of the world not want China to build this magnum opus? Today in this video, we will discuss all the controversies surrounding the infamous and controversial project China has planned. But before moving forward, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Without further ado, let's get started. Before looking into the controversy, let's get a synopsis of this vast project. The Nyingchi Railway Line is a part of the Sichuan-Tibet Railway Line project, which connects Chengdu and Lhasa, the provincial prefecture capitals. The 87-mile Chengdu-Ya'an segment of the railway line has been functioning since December 2018, while the 270-mile Lhasa-Nyingchi segment is anticipated to be operational next year, leaving just the Nyingchi leg to be constructed. As a result of the complex geological conditions and the delicate ecological environment, this final phase is also considered to be the most challenging. Additionally, a segment of the Nyingchi Railway will cross one of the most seismically active zones on the planet. Construction is anticipated to be completed in 2030 after 10 years. But why has China invested more in the Tibetan railway network despite the conflicts with Tibet? To understand this, we have to understand China's strategy. The Chengdu-Lhasa Railway will connect Tibet to China's extensive rail network once it is finished. It will be the second railway line to do so. In 2006, a railway connecting Lhasa and Xining City in Qinghai Province started operating. The Chinese government places a high priority on the completion of the Chengdu-Lhasa Railway project. Chinese Communist Party General Secretary Xi Jinping emphasized the railway's significance in his remarks prior to the project's start, calling it a huge stride in maintaining national unity and a substantial move in fostering economic and social development of the western region. Xi urged workers to expedite the Nyingchi line's construction in a scientific, safe, and eco-friendly way because of the project's crucial role in the CCP's plans for managing the TAR and its strategy for ensuring national unity and stability in border regions. The construction of the Sichuan-Tibet Railway will undoubtedly boost the TAR's economy, but it will also exacerbate the region's already difficult regional conflicts. Some Tibetans worry that expanding railways into Tibet will make it easier for Beijing to rob Tibet of its natural riches. It's also anticipated that the growing number of Han Chinese migrants and tourists in Tibet would have an even more significant impact on the region's demography and culture, which have already been threatened by China's decades-long sinicization campaign. Indian officials are worried that the Chinese trains, which are on their way to the disputed part of the India-China border, may exacerbate the border dispute between the two nuclear-armed countries revived early this year. The more China invests in the project, the more it will be economically stable. But how? Since the 1950s, a crucial part of China's strategy in the area has been the construction of overland connection infrastructure into and within Tibet. The Chinese government concentrated on building roads in the early decades to open up the area. Chairman Mao Zedong is rumored to have told the People's Liberation Army or PLA to advance while building roads before the annexation of Tibet, to convey the truckloads of PLA soldiers required to quell local rebellion and solidify the PRC's military and administrative control over Tibet. Better overland connectivity into Tibet was needed. It was treated with the same aggression and importance as a fight because of this. China had constructed more than 59,000 kilometers of roads in Tibet by 2018. The importance of infrastructure development and road construction for maintaining China's national unity is still emphasized by Chinese analysts today. Do you guys know what motivated China to build this enormous project? Let's find out. The successful construction of the Qinghai-Tibet Railway line in 2006 accelerated China's pace of railway development in Tibet, which started in 2001. Later in 2014, this line was extended to Shigatse. The line has produced economic gains for Tibet and the rest of China in the 15 years since it was finished. China transports water and minerals from the TAR's abundant natural resources to its western and central provinces suffering from drought. At the same time, the railway has boosted access to Tibetan commodities in Chinese markets. Since items can now be transported more cheaply into Tibet by train, many Tibetans can now afford necessities and consumer goods. According to Chinese analysts, the Chengdu-Lhasa line is said to offer similar advantages. The Sichuan-Tibet rail link would make it possible to transport cutting-edge technology and equipment from other regions of China to Tibet. It would put the TAR on a fast track to catch up with the rest of China's economic development, which is essential given that the Chinese leadership has made eradicating poverty a top priority. It's anticipated that the new Sichuan-Tibet Railway will generate even more value than the already existing Qinghai-Tibet Railway. But what exactly is the controversy surrounding it? It's evident that building this huge project will create conflict on the border of China and Tibet. How? Let's see. This summer, fighting along the LAC in eastern Ladakh rekindled border tensions between China and India. India is concerned about China's strategic intentions in building and extending railway lines along the de facto line of actual control marked border zone or LAC. Chinese analysts have not shied away from pointing out that the Chengdu-Lhasa railway line will aid in the distribution of key commodities to the contentious Sino-Indian border in the event of a confrontation with India. Although the summer's violence has subsided, forces on both sides seems to be digging in for a protracted winter as numerous rounds of negotiations have so far failed to produce an amicable agreement. Satellite imagery shows Chinese forces continuing to build up their position along the LAC and increasing the number of troops around the border. In the western portion of the LAC, India claims roughly 14,670 square miles of territory in the province of Aksai Chin, and an additional 1,930 square miles in the Shaksgam Valley of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, also known as the Trans-Karakoram Tract, which was placed under Chinese control in 1963. China asserts sovereignty over an area totaling around 35,000 square miles along the eastern portion of the LAC, which it sees as a component of the former Tibetan region. Currently, the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh is in charge of managing this land. But is it the same for Tibet? Unfortunately, this final disputed area is dangerously close to the Chengdu-Lhasa railway line. In the Upper Siang district of Arunachal Pradesh, less than 10 miles north of India's Tooting sector, Nyingchi, the terminus city of the railway's final segment to be finished, is situated. The new railway connection would enable the PLA to quickly mobilize trainloads of soldiers directly to the front line in the event of a border battle between China and India in the eastern LAC. In addition to housing the 52nd and 53rd Mountain Infantry Brigades of the PLA and one of Tibet's 4 dual-use airports, Nyingchi was once a garrison town in southeast Tibet. The connective infrastructure connecting the border city with the rest of China has received significant funding from Beijing. Travel time between Lhasa and Nyingchi was reduced from 8 to 5 hours in 2017 with the construction of a 254-mile expressway. The journey will only take 3 hours until trains from Lhasa start arriving at Nyingchi the following year. The distance between Chengdu and Nyingchi will be reduced by about 2/3 when approaching from the opposite direction. China has been constructing connection links while bolstering its Nyingchi military base's infrastructure. According to satellite photographs, the airport and helipads have improved in recent years. Additionally, structures are being constructed to house large numbers of soldiers, armored vehicles, and other equipment in barracks and sheds. China is extending its railroads to other border towns in Tibet in addition to the planned line to Nyingchi. China and Nepal made agreements in 2018 to work together on plans to extend the current Lhasa-Shigatse line to Girong, a trading town close to the Nepali border, and to connect this line to Kathmandu, Nepal's capital city. Additionally, there are proposals to expand the Lhasa-Shigatse railway line to Yadong in the south. However, these initiatives appear to have been put off. Yadong, a trading settlement next to the critical Nathula mountain pass that connects Tibet and India in the eastern part of the LAC, is also close to western Bhutan, where China has territorial claims on the Doklam Plateau. Now the big question arises, Is it for the economy or for the territory? Chinese government representatives have frequently asserted that the railway lines to the Tibet-India border are intended to boost the economies of rural areas and that the central government has urged more affluent provinces to invest in places like Nyingchi. For instance, Guangdong province is investing $78 million in 51 projects in Nyingchi this year. China has frequently emphasized the economic advantages of such infrastructure development, which are anticipated to raise local income for farmers and herders, promote local tourism, and create employment possibilities for residents. The Lhasa-Shigatse railway link has also frequently been depicted in Chinese official media as a way to gain access to the markets in Nepal and India, omitting mentions of its dual military usage and the detrimental effects on the security of the China-India border. Although Chinese railways may increase regional trade, Indian analysts are doubtful that this trade will genuinely benefit India. The current increase of tensions along the LAC, particularly along its western sector since May of this year, has also made India more attentive to railroads' role in the PLA's mobilization of troops to the border. The fact that several of the places along the LAC where Chinese trains are expected to arrive have previously served as the scene of significant crisis and confrontations between the PLA and Indian security forces has not gone unnoticed by Indian analysts. For instance, Yadong lies close to Doklam, the scene of a 73-day stalemate between the Indian and Chinese military in 2017. Chinese soldiers broke into the Indian side of the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh shortly after the Doklam crisis. The point of infiltration wasn't too far from Nyingchi. This was described in Indian media sources as a Chinese effort to launch a second front against India. With the PLA sending troops to the front lines via train, future Chinese incursions at these locations could be more significant. To summarize all the notable points, because of its robust economy, in contrast to the ongoing global unrest brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, China may be seizing the chance to assert itself by developing infrastructure and changing the facts on the ground. China wants to solidify its position in territorial disputes, while its rivals are preoccupied. What are your thoughts on the same? Do let us know in the comments section. And if you like our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching.